Okay, look who's with us now. Fox News senior meteorologist Janice Dean. Janice, we'd love having you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's nice to see you, Liz.
Janice, can you tell us about your fight with the New York State Governor's office?
Oh, where do I start? It's been a long time, my friend. It's been over 10 months. And it started because my husband lost his parents in separate elder care facilities in New York. I wasn't going to speak out about this. You know, I'm not a political person. I never have been. I'm the meteorologist on Fox. But because the governor was not answering questions about his March 25th order that put COVID positive patients into nursing homes for 46 days, over 6,000 of them, that I think helped contribute to not only my in-laws' deaths, but thousands of others. Because the governor wasn't being asked the question, I thought it was important to raise my voice so that I could speak on behalf of those that don't have one. So for the last 10 months, I've been kind of an advocate on, the seniors and the policies and the fact that this governor has not taken any responsibility for these deaths or given us answers. We still don't have the exact total number of seniors that got COVID in their elder care facilities and have died. Like my mother-in-law got COVID in her assisted living facility but died in the hospital, but her number doesn't count because Governor Cuomo is the only governor that doesn't count those that died in the hospital.
That's baffling. I mean, he's treated as a hero in the media. And also now we have that botched policy. We have botched shutdowns in New York. The mayor, Bill de Blasio, is begging Cuomo's office for vaccines. Look at the number of states that are beating New York State in terms of vaccinations. You're going to see on the list North Dakota, South Dakota, West Virginia, Tennessee. And so I think you're raising issues, questions about that too. But then his office is going after you now, saying you're not a, quote, you're not a credible source on anything except maybe the weather. That sounds pretty sexist.
Yeah, that's certainly one way to describe it. His administration are notorious for being bullies, just like the governor. And, I would say that maybe the governor should concentrate more on leading and protecting the seniors that we have alive today and getting those vaccines into their arms instead of celebrating himself. He had a best-selling book. He had a poster. He was going around celebrating his birthday with his favorite celebrities and charging $1,000 with, money going to his campaign. So, instead of celebrating yourself, Governor, and winning an Emmy Award, how about actually leading your state and saving those that are alive today?
Florida has a bigger population. It has vaccinated more seniors than any other state, 400,000. Texas has vaccinated 1 million. And then we see people, hospital workers, Janice, in New York, we're seeing reports that they're so scared, they're so panicked, they're so intimidated by Governor Cuomo's administration and his rules that they're literally throwing out vaccines because the people are not eligible under his rules. And then he's ticketing people, he's fining people, he's harassing people. Can you talk about that?
Well, the list goes on. The man has been in power for many years, and he is feared and revered here in New York. I've certainly discovered that. I've had blue checks on Twitter, famous people, reporters that have basically whispered in my ear saying people are afraid of him. They're afraid to speak out because of his bullying administration. And he likes to rule with an iron fist. He doesn't like to, go by what the counties want to do. I mean, the counties have been rehearsing this pandemic for many years. There was a system in place, but he completely blew it up and decided it was going to be run by the hospitals. And many would say maybe the hospitals were the ones that were, lining his pocketbooks. So, there's a lot of things to unpack if maybe some journalists would do that. I'm the meteorologist. I'm speaking up on behalf of my husband's parents, and I will continue to do so, but I would love some help from the mainstream media.
Yeah, we're so sorry that your family suffered through this. It just feels so unfair. and so wrong what you and your husband have endured. And, you know, we keep hearing from people here in New York and other states where there's massive shutdowns and lockdowns. Are these politicians rolling up their sleeves? Are they getting out there talking to people saying, hey, what do you need? How can we help you? Do you need temperature check devices? Do you need plexiglass to open your businesses? What do you need, hospitals, in terms of vaccinations? What are we doing wrong? Instead, Janice, it feels so top down, so bureaucratic. What do you say? Final word.
I agree with you, Liz, and that's the problem. I think this governor has ruled like he is the king, and, you know, we're his servants, and whatever he says is what the rule of law is, and that's not how a democracy should work. So I would like all lawmakers on both sides to rise up and say, you know what, we've got a big problem here. We need to save more lives, not lose them.
All right, Janice Dean. You're pretty good for a meteorologist there, Janice. You're doing some journalism there.
I love you.
It's good to have you on. Okay, same here. Okay, next up.